Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself. We had an awesome show yesterday. We have an even better show today. And I don't mean better because of who the guests are, but I mean like just better because it's a Tuesday. I've had a bad day. So I just want to come and talk about things that make me happy.
You had a bad day, Keith? I'm sorry.
I did have a bad day.
What?
It's not your fault, though.
Okay. Well, that's actually a first. I'll take it.
No, not all the time. You don't
I
don't
feel
make
like-
me mad all the time.
Well, man, 30% of the time at least, right?
Sorry, I was doing my Red Bull spot.
You were. Well, last night we had an awesome show. Again, he's showing his sponsor there, so that's wannabe sponsor. I have a rival energy drink sponsor, so maybe we'll have a little competition between Celsius and Red Bull. That could be kind of fun, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. Unless Celsius wants to pick me up too, then I'm fine with that.
Either way, yeah.
I just want energy drinks sent to my house. It's really all I want. I drink 5 of these a day. Like, you would think that Red Bull would be like, you're right, we'll just sponsor you.
Well, whatever works for you, bud. But anyways,
What that means.
Keith is right. We did have an awesome show last night with Mark Cuevas coming on from Love is Blind. Keith, do you think that Love is Blind?
Do I think Love is Blind? No. I think it's deaf. If you can get past the whining, complaining, and arguing, then yeah, you're good. But blind, no.
Is that why we named it Love is Deaf last night?
Well, we did because we thought it would be absolutely funny. But
So you do have a valid reason then.
I do. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think it's blind. Do you think it's blind?
No, actually, but I agree with you. There's got to be some attractiveness in there. There has to be, right?
You would think.
Yeah. Well, anyways, tonight we later on in the show we have Josh Wolf coming on. He's a friend of mine. He is an actor, a writer, a comedian, all around awesome dude. Can't wait to have him on there. If we think that we are 1% funny, he is the other 99%. So I cannot wait to have him on here. In the meantime, we've been having some other
High
stuff.
percent.
A very high percentage. Yeah, it makes up for most of the show. So I mean, that's why people.
What? You only
Yeah.
give us 1%?
One.
No, dude. We're like at least 20 to 25.
You're right. The rest of the time we're 75% stupid.
Well, yeah, that's okay. But, like, you got to give us some credit. Like, do I think we're hilarious? Absolutely. Do I think we could be stand-up comedians? 100%. Do I think that Josh Wolf thinks we could be comedians? No, I don't.
No, not.
But I think that we have decent sense of humor-ish.
Okay. Well, I'll take it. Well, we are getting into some news topics going around for today, the first part of this show. And we do have a big one that we're going to talk to Josh about later on involving Keith's favorite person, LeBron James. Right, Keith? We don't have to get into that right now because I know how much Keith loves LeBron James. But anyways, there is another big time athlete in the news this week. Apologies for my dogs right now. Our DoorDash order is showing up to the door.
Is there a reason you DoorDash at 7:05 when we do a show?
You know,
Why
honestly,
wouldn't you DoorDash at like 5?
I got it at 6. I thought it was going to be like 30 minutes, but it was an hour. And so it took way longer than I thought. So
Do you want to know how to make sure that never happens again? Take your camera and go down and interview the DoorDash guy and find out why it took an hour.
They're always different, though.
What do you mean?
They're always different people dropping off. It's not like the pizza guy. It's not always the same guy.
Oh, well, I eat pizza too much. I know, like my pizza guy a lot.
Well, I mean, I like our pizza guy too, but the DoorDash guy is always different. But anyways, another athlete big in the news this weekend is A-Rod. A-Rod and J-Lo no longer together.
I hate A-Rod. I despise that man, but that's okay.
The actual title should read, Worst MLB Commentator of All Time is no longer with J-Lo.
Dude, he is a bad commentator, right? Like, it's not just me. Dude, all right, so we're about to hit on a thing I'm passionate about. Like, I hate A-Rod so much that when I have to, like, when he would do the Indians games, like, you know, whenever they're on, like, MLB Network or whatever, when I would listen to him talk, dude, literally, I spent, what was a normal baseball game, about 2 hours, 15 minutes?
2.5 hours.
2 hours and 15 minutes screaming, shut up, A-Rod, at the TV just because of how pompous he is whenever he's announcing any sport.
So
He's
bad.
horrible.
It's so bad. Well, somebody would be up to bat, and they might swing And he'll go, when I was with the Yankees, I would have hit that line drive to center. There's a double right there. Hey, somebody might throw a heater. It's a curveball just a bit outside. If I could have been pitching with my days in the Yankees, I bet I could have thrown that. I mean, everything that he talks about as a commentator is about himself. And I'm sure that J-Lo is self-centered, but my goodness, if I had to deal with A-Rod every single day, I mean, the movie The Other Guys, he shot Derek Jeter, and there's a reason they put in the line there that he should have shot A-Rod. I mean, he is horrible at announcing and just about himself.
A-Rod, so he was like, A-Rod puts himself on a pedestal. If you've listened to how A-Rod talks, even when he's commentating, he always he believes in his mind that he's the best baseball player to ever step up to home plate. Here's the problem with that. He is not the best baseball player. He started the cheating ring. He was using PED. He was doing that stuff. He was juicing. He was using roids. I hate A-Rod so much. It's disgusting. Dude, I don't like Joe Buck either. I think Joe Buck is a horrible commentator.
I don't mind Joe Buck. But I'm
what? What part of Joe Buck don't you mind?
Okay, to be fair, I don't like his baseball announcing, but I do like his football announcing. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I really don't mind it, honestly.
Dude, he is so bad.
I don't mind.
He is bad. We talk about a lot of people, a lot of celebrities and stuff, and we're having a lot of celebrities on the show. But, dude, Joe Buck and A-Rod need to be out of the media. They hate Cleveland so bad. It's ridiculous. But, A-Rod hates New York, too. So I don't really understand. I don't get it.
Didn't he just become those? Was it him or Jeter that bought into the Mets?
No, it was him. The Mets. He bought into the Mets. I used to be a Mets fan just because I don't like the Yankees. Now I can't even like the Mets anymore. He's awful.
Okay. On that point, though, you were bringing up baseball. We don't talk a lot of baseball on the show. Keith loves baseball. I enjoy baseball. We talked about the Tribe last week with the Indians. But one thing that you posted on Twitter, or Peyton Hillis did on Twitter, yeah, we get it, was the controversy of the PED use in baseball. And the question was, with ratings and everything, how it is, should players be allowed to be using steroids? Keith or Dave?
The only thing is, in MLB, should they be allowed? No, probably not. Do I think they should be able to use roids? No, I don't think so. But, of course, everybody comments on the Twitter thing. They're like, oh, fan control. Yeah, if it's going to be fan control, which pisses me off. But if it's
what is that? I don't know. What is that?
It's nothing yet. It's absolutely nothing. Okay. Have you seen fan control football?
Yes, I have. I have seen that.
Okay. Yeah, now picture that garbage in baseball. It's like the washed up people who can't stay off drugs. Like Johnny Manziel doing lines of coke off of somebody.
Right.
That's going on in the locker room, and for a fact, 100% for a fact that if it was going to be fan-controlled baseball, they're going to have to find washed-up players who couldn't compete. I don't know. I just don't think fan-controlled baseball could be a thing. But if it was, then roid them up, juice them up. Let's see. I want to see some 500 feet home runs or whatever, but you're not going to see that.
What's interesting about it to me is I talked to my dad about it because he watched for a long time in the 90s and stuff like that of baseball. He's a big baseball fan. And, of course, you have all those guys juiced up. But the thing was that you have home run records being beaten every single year. And I talked to a buddy of mine who was he was in some college baseball. And what he told me was that in high school, and I'm not saying this is right, I'm just saying this is what he told me, was that in high school baseball, in college, in D1, D2, all that stuff, they're juicing up just to make it to the major league. He said that happens all the time. So if you're juicing up all the time, I mean, it's crazy to me that it's so prevalent anyways, but it's weird to say, they're juicing all the way up until the pros and then they stop. It's very strange to me.
That's horrible for your body. Cool. Can you imagine the amount of pressure put on those kids? I mean, let's just be honest with you. This is we have a lot of fun talking on the show, but when it comes down to that's serious, dude. To have that kind of pressure as an athlete in high school, to know you have to do this to make it to the majors, if that's what you want to do.
17 years old, that's a lot of stuff put on your body at that age.
Dude, you're not even supposed to start lifting weights until until after 16.
Right.
So
right.
like think about it. And a good coach, a good baseball coach, let's just take a pitcher for example. A good baseball coach is not going to have you start throwing a bunch of junk pitches like your sliders and your curves, like not until you're at a certain age. You know what I mean? Like in high school, you should, or maybe not high school, but like middle school, you should not be throwing 12-6 curves. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be throwing spitballs. You shouldn't be throwing sliders. You shouldn't be throwing knuckles. You shouldn't be doing any of that because it messes up your rhythm. It blows out I mean, think about the pressure and stuff you put on your arms. It's just not good. And the pressure we're putting on kids now who are 17, like you said, getting out of high school, like it's too much. I don't think we need to put the pressure on these kids as student athletes to get to that level. And if they're juicing at that age, can you imagine what happens when they hit 25, 26? They're going to fall out. The bottom's going to fall out.
Well, and that's what I was saying. That's what I was telling my buddy was telling me. He's like, they are juicing up all the way until they get to the MLB. And then when you have flops in the major leagues, it's because they're no longer good because they've stopped juicing. So that's a big problem. But going from other roided up guys to another sport, I want to jump ship here for a second. And this week has obviously been very, very big with the NFL free agency. So the Browns signed John Johnson III as a safety. No more Andrew Sendejo as the starting safety, thank goodness. So there's a little bit more peace. I mean, he played his guts out. He did, but we needed someone who is strong back there.
He did.
But talking about roided up dudes that look like it, just another jack dude. Rob Gronkowski signed with the Bucks today for $10 million for a 1-year deal. And did you see his interview with his girlfriend about him being a free agent every year?
I did not.
It was interesting. So apparently, when he first came in the league, he was 20 years old, and he signed an 8-year deal to be with Pats. So he played through, he completed his contract, which, as he said, is a very rare thing to do. So he completed his contract as a tight end for 8 years. And then he, retired for a year, came back with the Bucks. And he said that he will never sign another multi-year deal, that he wants to be a free agent at the end of every year just to see what's out there because he felt like he missed out on some stuff, just talking to other teams and stuff. So I thought that was a very interesting conversation between he and his girlfriend and the reporter there, because that is very impressive. And I did not think about that, to play 8 years straight with the NFL. That is very impressive in itself. But then to go from there, retire, and then become Tom Brady's best friend, as he always was, to come back with the Bucks. We was trying to be with the Bucks anyways. But I thought that was a cool approach to go, you know what? I'm doing 1-year deals from here on out.
I mean, but is that not – I mean, if you're looking at it from a financial standpoint, is he the best? Probably not. But, I mean, that's a smart move on his part, right? I mean, he's a good agent.
Yeah, well –
not as good as Mahomes, but a good agent.
In a way, I almost think he's his own agent now, right? Like, he's made enough money. Everybody knows the household name, like he is. When you talk about Brady now, you talk about Gronk. That wasn't with. I mean, you had Randy Moss years ago, but now it's Gronk in there too. So it's definitely very interesting in that.
No, yeah, you're absolutely 100% right, 100% right on that one. So let me ask you a question then. If you so I know it's different in the racing world, but if you had to sign either a multi-year contract or if you were going to go year by year, what would you pick? Would you go multi or would you go year by year to see if you can stretch out, get more for it the next year? Those are tough questions.
Yeah, well, no, I had to battle with that. So most contracts in NASCAR are typically a 1-year deal, and it's based off of sponsorship and performance are the main things it's based on. So I had a lot of 1-year deals. My last 4 years, I was on 4 different teams. So it would bounce around a lot. But what I did a lot of the time was have a 1-year, basically it was a 2-year contract, but I had the option on it. So I could stay or I could go. That way, especially in Xfinity, you're still talking about tons of money in these contracts, millions for the sponsorship you have to bring and do things with it, but also you're getting paid too.
Sure.
But there is always the option in there that I could opt out, whether it's for a better opportunity or to move up to the Cup Series. So, for example, when I was with Joe Gibbs Racing, I moved over to Richard Childress Racing. Over there, I signed a couple-year deal, but it's with an option. So I was able to go to the Cup Series because my agent and I, we talked about having that option in there. So To me, I always liked having the player or driver controlled option just because you get to control your own destiny.
Sure.
But to be honest with you, in the landscape of racing, I think a lot of sports now, you see these 1 or 2 year deals because the landscape of the money changes so much every single year that it's not smart to do a long-term contract unless you're like, you know what, I want to be here, which is awesome. That's fantastic if you want to do that. But once you get into it,
Right.
I do think it's good to be able to shop. But so many leagues now are having different TV deals and streaming rights and all this kind of stuff. So maybe it doesn't make sense to stay in one spot as much as it used to. But I think you see that across the board that not a player doesn't stay in one city for his entire career anymore. They kind of bounce around a little bit, which is, like a James Harden, great player, who's been he's with his third or fourth team now. It's very different than what it used to be.
No, fair enough. Makes sense. So what do you think is going to happen? So you're obviously saying that you would probably try to take the free agent deal, the 1 year, just to see if you could basically get more money out of it. I don't think that's a bad way to look at it, though. Like, listen, I've had this mulling around for a while. People are like, oh, these athletes are – and I'm the first person to say you're playing a child's game.
Yeah.
And football is a child's game. Baseball is a child's game. Basketball is a child's game. These are all games that adults are playing them and getting paid multi-millions, sometimes $500 million to play these games. In my opinion, yes. Is the player going to try to get as much as he can out of it? Yeah, I think I think that's only the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think it's only the right thing is to squeeze as much money as you can out of it.
Yeah.
But would I take a multi-year deal? No, I don't think I would. I think I would definitely take a year-by-year thing just to see, especially if I already have a name for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different in the racing world because now – more than a 1 or 2 year contract is very hard to find because of sponsorship and the way that just things work on the revenue and teams side with that now. Right. So if I was offered a 5-year contract at a decent pay on that deal, I'm taking it because it is just as easy that you could be a cup driver and all of a sudden after your 1 year, you're done. You're back to Xfinity, you're back to trucks or absolutely nothing. So if I'm a driver, I'm with at least a decent team, I'm going to take the longer option on that because it secures your spot in the sport. So it just depends on the situation. I think everything is unique, and that's why you got to have a good agent and trust your agent.
No, you're right, and it's kind of like what we do here for podcasts and stuff. I mean, you want to have someone who's engaging, who's going to sell things, who's going to be able to be a face. But I think like the athletes, like I don't know. I think a 1 year deal is a smart move. I mean, obviously you're either going to want to. I guess you look at it a couple of different ways.
That's the biggest thing. You have to be wanted. You can't just be
right.
You can't be a second string quarterback and go, I want to be on this. Like, no, you can't do that because you're not going to be. There's no guarantees of being there. But I guess moving on from the sports world a little bit, talking about how you negotiate things and go places or not go places. Kind of a more fun thing here is the Grammys. Now, I don't know much about the Grammys. I'm not big into it, but I did not know. I know you're a big Eminem fan, so you can probably pitch in here. But I did not realize so many artists boycott the Grammys. And apparently there's these secret conspiracies who gets picked and who wins these things. The Weeknd pulled out. Justin Bieber is out. Ariana Grande was out. Eminem was out. Kanye's out. Like all these big names are like, screw you. Like, hate you. We're not doing the hell with it. Like, we're not doing it. What in the world is up with that? Because you're a big Eminem fan, but why is there such a big conspiracy thing around the Grammys and who wins these things?
I mean, because it goes by popularity. It's a popularity contest. Dude, we know more than anything trying to do these podcasts and getting people to follow you and like you, dude. It's all about it is truly about who you know, but it's like you got to try to work extra hard to get people to want to be engrossed in what you're doing. The problem is with Eminem is that he cut his fan base in half and then got mad when the other fan base is now trying to cancel him.
Right.
So, like, you can't really get – I mean, is Eminem going to come out on top? Yeah, absolutely he will. Mm-hmm. He's Eminem. Is he going to make a song about cancel culture? Yeah, absolutely is. Is it stupid that they're trying to cancel him? Yes, they are. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe that you should be able to do whatever you want and say whatever you want without everybody getting offended every 5 seconds. Is he going to come out on top of this? Yeah, absolutely. But the Grammys – I mean, do the Grammys even mean anything anymore? Let's just be honest. Do they?
Yeah, that's what I don't know because, like, the Weeknd, they came out and said we had we're number one on the billboards for whatever long. They're like number one album, number one this, and this. And they're like, how did we not get nominated for anything? How do we not win anything? And I understand that. Like, if you were number one on everything and they just said to hell with you, like I would boycott it too. Like, if it's complete bullshit, why would you be a part of it? So
no,
that's
100%.
It's very interesting because, with Emmys and things like that, it's very different because that's with the Academy and there's all kinds of stuff with movies and there's, these giant things that go into it and there's a voting process. But it seems like this is more of a, like they said, they don't know who the voting groups are or whatever the teams that go into this, but it is definitely something that is very, very, how do I put it? Predetermined, it seems like, or maybe a little bit of, I don't want to say bribe, but like just very fishy about how they're doing these things. So it's amazing to me, like 50 Cent, Jay-Z, like all these guys have just said, nope, we're done. So who do you have?
I understand why 50 Cent did it. He hates the industry.
Right.
He hates what it's become. I get why Eminem did it. He hates the industry, but he is also like, what he did probably wasn't very intelligent when I'm talking about cutting his fan base in half and saying the stuff that he did and not caring. But I mean, if you look at it, like, so I'm going to say something that is going to blow your mind. I know you just got out of school, but there used to be a time when I would get out of school and I would watch music on something called MTV.
Okay, Keith.
Now it's just ridiculousness.
When I was still in school, they still did have some of that. Yes, last week they had that. I think it was maybe
music last week.
Classic or something like that. No, I did have it for. We did have it like in middle school, but then it changed in high school, like between 13, since like 2009 to 2014, somewhere in there. It did change over, but I remember we used to have VH1, so they'd have all the music videos on there, so we'd watch it from there. But yeah, I mean, it is weird. Like, why did that whole deal is very, very strange about how all that the music industry changed so much from being literally music television to being complete crap reality garbage that, people love crap reality garbage, but
that is true.
I don't know. Yeah. It's weird that they don't get showcased like that anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that one. All right, so we got Josh Wolf coming on where we're going to kind of chat with him. And, it's your buddy, so I'm going to let you kind of take point in the interview, and I'm just going to sit back and laugh. But he's got so he does a podcast too, right?
He does, yeah. He's got
What's it called?
I forget the one name of his podcast. We'll have to ask, but one of his really funny ones is called High Live. So he goes and he just gets stoned as crap, and it's he basically goes and interviews and talks with people. One of them, he read like a children's book on it. I don't know. The dude's awesome. I've seen him many times in person now, so it's definitely a show you got to go watch when COVID allows. He's doing small shows right now. We'll get into all that, but definitely someone you got to go see because. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm crying laughing. Go on his YouTube and look at his videos because you'll be in tears laughing so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. He's joining us at the 7:30 mark. Guys, please follow at KeithMiger1. Just hit the follow button. It's not very hard. Follow at Matt_Tiff. Just hit the follow button. It's not very hard. Make sure you guys go to our Teespring, grab some merch. We're doing a summer sweepstakes, so whatever you purchase, let us know. It gives you a entry into a raffle to get a non-piss stained fire suit from Matt. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Unless you want the piss stain one, he'll pee on it for you. We already talked about it. He's more than happy to pee on it.
You're paying for shipping.
I'm not touching that.
I don't mean you. I mean the user who does it. If they want that, they're paying for shipping. It's extra for Fragile Care or something.
Fragile Care? Your pee is that fragile?
It might be. I don't know.
Now I want a cup of your pee.
$20.
Can you mail it to me?
$20.
We'll put what?
$20.
$20. I'm not paying for your piss. All right, guys, we'll be right back. When we come back, we'll have Josh Wolf on. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Life in the Fast Lane with your host Keith Migra and Josh Wolf. Special guest Matt Tift. How are you? How are you doing, Matt? It's good to have you on our show.
So we're coming back from break. Keith starts out the show. I'm in a bad mood today. It's like Monday, even though it's Tuesday. He goes, I'm in a good mood because somebody else is on this thing. Doesn't have to listen to my shit the whole time. So, anyways, welcome, Josh Wolf, to the
You're
podcast.
not wrong.
Yeah, I know.
You guys sound like an old married couple.
Can't be old, isn't it? Can't be old. Matt's like 12.
But you
Look at 'em.
sound like an old married couple. Like you guys
okay, there we
arguing
go.
like my grandmother and grandfather. Put the cap on the juice back on. It's on. I said put it on. It's on. You two sound like
Pretty fair. It's pretty fair.
We do sound like a great. Don't you piss yourself a lot, Matt? This is why. See, I told you. You're like
used-
an old guy.
But yeah, it depends.
It
wait,
depends on
but
how-
you had to pee in your car.
See, he gets it. He gets it.
Right.
Now, let
He's
me
totally
ask you
right.
something, though. Let me ask you something because I've been in a situation. So I used to work in writers' rooms, on TV shows. And it came up once, we were talking about diapers. And I said, even if I put a diaper on, I said, I don't think mentally I'd be able to pee. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's something in me where I'm not sure I'd be able to do it. And so sure enough, we put the diaper on and I just, you know what I mean? So did you have to, I don't want to say teach yourself to wet yourself again, but like, do you know what I mean? Like,
No, I totally get you. I remember the exact race. I cannot forget this moment because I was racing for years. This was probably 2018. So I'd come on your show in 2016. We met at the David Ortiz charity event there. I'd come back to your house when we did the show. That was in Fontana. We were racing out there, and you're out in LA still. And it was that summer in August, and I drank a ton of water because it was supposed to be a scorcher. We're racing up in New York. And for some reason, cloud cover came in, and I'm way too hydrated. I mean, way too hydrated. And it's halfway through the race, and I'm like, oh, God. And I'd never been able to do it. And so I was like fighting it. I'm fighting it. We're 3 hours in the race. I'm fighting it. And it happened. And I don't know why, but after them, it was hard not to do it. It was totally breaking the seal.
you cracked the seal. Now, when you did it, how much longer, like, I guess the real question I want to get to is how long did you have to sit in your piss?
So that race was about an hour more in it. The bad ones, okay, here's the deal. So those were shorter races. The next year I moved up to the Cup Series, the top series in NASCAR. And it wouldn't happen every time, but cold races were horrible because I tried to stay to the same hydration schedule. The biggest thing you had to watch out for, 1, cool temperatures, and 2, white suits. And I remember
White suits.
Yeah. But luckily you're somewhat hydrated, so it's not that bad because it should be fairly clear. But I remember we were in Texas, and this was in April of 2019, and we got out on the track, and dude, it is freezing. Like, it's maybe 40 degrees outside, and normally it's not cold in the car, but that day it was before we started going. And we're going pace laps, and this is a 4-hour, 500-mile race, and we're going 1 to go. And I went, yep, it's happening. So longest one, 4 hours.
You sat in it. Does it smell, or is it so watery that it's just like kind of water in your leg?
The sad thing is the cars get so hot that it evaporates.
Yeah. Is that sad?
Well, it's
That seems like a good thing, man.
it wouldn't. The sad part. No, the sad part comes in that you have to smell it the whole time. That is the sad part. Because you go in the corner at 205 miles an hour, and you're like, oh God. Then you come out of the corner. Okay, we're good. Next corner, air comes in. Oh God.
You know what it smells like? It smells like, depending on which street you walk down in New York City. Some streets are fine, and some street you're like, this street smells like piss. Okay, I got one more question for you because I forgot to ask when you were on my podcast, so I'm officially interviewing you guys. Have you ever heard of anyone having to drop a deuce during a race?
Ooh, I have heard. So somebody had a stomach bug, and I can't remember exactly who it was. This is like a '90s story, so I can't remember who it was. But they did end up crapping themselves. But the worst ones, which happened a few weeks ago to a driver named Daniel Suarez, this happened to other guys too, and then had the flu or something like that, is throwing up in your helmet. That is
Oh God.
you have a helmet skirt. I've told you the whole deal about being strapped in the car. You have your whole deal. You cannot move, and it's a skirt right here. So you're literally just blowing. And I've never done it. Thank God, never done it. But you blow chunks, and it's stuck right here in your neck, and you're like eating it and breathing.
No,
God.
no,
Dude, that is
thing.
awful.
no.
Dude, I have 4 kids, and every time they get sick, I try to purposely leave the house. Like, I will go
Hey.
anywhere. I don't care where I go. I'll go kick it anywhere.
Yeah.
But to, like, puke like that? God, if I threw up in a helmet and I had to smell it for 4 hours, I'd kill myself.
That's a jackass stunt. Dude, like that's not something real people do for their jobs.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Put that on your list of resumes. Can sit through puke. Like, good for you.
That is pretty impressive.
really is.
Okay, Josh, did you ever have a show where you had? I mean, I know you're on stage. Like, have you puked on stage? Has that happened to you?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I forget what the club's not there anymore, so I don't remember the name of the club. One of my favorite stories happened at this. So I went through a period of time in my life, maybe early 2000s. It was cool to kind of have like one of those chunky leather kind of wrist somethings.
The big bracelet thing, right?
Yeah, right. So I had one of those, and I walk into this club, and the guy says to me, he goes, because I like to check in early, and maybe I used to anyways, and like see the stage and see the place. And he goes, stage here. He goes, you need sound check? I go, nah. And he was like, all right, how long are you going to do? I go, I'll do like 45, 50 minutes. And he goes, cool. He goes, well, listen, dude, but like, we don't have a place to keep your bird. And I was like, what? And he goes, your bird. We don't have a place for your bird. I go, I don't use a bird. He thought the thing on my wrist was, yeah. He was like, yeah, we don't know where to find your bird. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a bird, bro. But
I would have just told him it's somewhere loose in the club. I don't know where it's at, but you got to find it.
oh, he'll find you. So I don't drink anymore, but I used to take a shot or two on stage if somebody wanted to buy them. But then I always told the club after 2, and I was drinking Jägermeister or tequila at the time, but the Jägermeister was easier to make it look like Coca-Cola. And so I would say, give me a shot of Coca-Cola after 2, because especially in the first show, I got another show. And so I guess they didn't get the message. And so the late show, I did a shot, did another shot, and I'm not a big guy anyways. So I done 2 shots early show. I got 2 shots late show. And then another shot comes up, and I do it, and it's Jägermeister. And I was like, so I ended up.
You're not expecting the Jägermeister. You're expecting Coke, right?
Oh, yeah. And then
Oh, yeah.
about 10 minutes later, another shot comes up. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to allow shots to come up, you have to drink them. Or if you don't drink them, it turns into one giant, drink it, you pussy, drink it, you pussy, drink, right? And you can't, and no matter how much, guys, you better drink that fucking shot.
Right.
So, especially as a younger comic, I could control it now, but as a younger comic, I didn't know how to
You
control
had
it.
to do what you had to do, right?
So I take a shot, and this is now 4 shots. And I say to them out loud, if you send another shot up here, I'm going to throw up on stage. So bring it with a trash can. And I would say within a minute and a half, there was another shot with a trash can.
Damn.
I did the shot. I was like, listen, guys, just so you know, I'll do this shot, but show over. Everybody's cool with that. I got to make sure everybody's. Oh yeah. Not only couldn't I not have done my job, but I was about to throw up, and like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like I don't have a helmet on. I can get the fuck out of there. I can. You know what? I don't got to take a left turn. I can take a right turn right to my hotel. You know.
Yeah. You're exit stage right.
Yeah, I can take a right turn whenever I want. So
Yes.
that's how we did that. And you know, I threw up on stage and walked off, grabbed my Falcon, and just was like, hey,
Got my Falcon.
let me get out of here. I have accidentally pooped on stage.
Whoa. Like a shark or like a legit poop?
Shart.
Okay.
I laughed and sneezed at the same time. And it was just too much pressure.
That's always that's always a disaster.
There was so much pressure. And you know, when you sneeze, I think your butthole opens like this, like your mouth. I think they both do that at the same time. Your asshole and your mouth go like that, right? And so I think with the laugh,
that was it.
Yeah, it was a witch
formula for bad times.
No more sphincter controlled. Sphincter completely lost.
Lost. There was a witch's brew in my underwear, and that was bad. Let me think what else has happened on a lot of things. I've had people throw up on my feet.
Oh. I'd be kicking people in the head.
I've had people charge the stage. I've had electricity go out in the building. Huh?
Why would they charge the stage? You piss them off?
A drunk guy. He's mad.
So you get hecklers all the time. That they actually do that. I went to like the Improv. We go to the Improv all the time.
Yeah, where are you?
When it was open, huh?
Where are you?
Cleveland.
Oh, you don't go to Hilarities?
Pickwick and Frolic we used to go to, but I haven't been to Hilarities in a long time.
Dude, Hilarities is where you need to go. That's where your stand-up comedy is in Cleveland, man.
See, like, so when we would go to those places, I think probably the first person I actually see was Tommy Davidson. I think was my first comedian I ever saw live.
Yeah,
it changed my life forever because that was like the first time I saw anybody up on stage. But somebody heckled him while we were there, and I'm like, but he handled it like so perfectly, only the way he could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was perfect. I'm assuming you do the same thing. Like, why do you get hecklers? Like, what is the point? Just try to get their 5 minutes of fame?
I think it's a couple things, man. One, you can't rule out alcohol.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very rare, especially now. At my shows, I don't get a lot of hecklers. My shows, really, the people that come to my shows are just there. They know it's going to be a good time and fun. And I'm an interactive dude anyways. So if you really want a chance to talk, I'm going to give it to you. Whoop, I did it again. Right? I'm going to end up giving it to you eventually, probably. You'll say something to me. We'll talk a little bit. But I also don't let it get to the point where I'll say to people, hey, so we're done. Just so you know, it's time for me to move on.
Yeah.
This was your part of the show. I had a great time with you, but this is where it ends. If you need for it to go on, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And I don't have a problem saying that shit to people.
Well, the only thing is that's normal. Like, I mean, if you're taking, like, the way I look at it is you're there to put on a show. People, you know, I mean, for however long you're doing it, people have giving you that time. Basically, the way we do our shows, we try to do everything we can to make it entertaining. When you have that one asshole that's trying to purposely provoke, and not, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad. You don't want to have that. You want to have a good time and a happy time.
Here's my thing, is that, okay, if you're talking to me, right, as an audience member, and we're having a good time, and I can see everybody still laughing. So for me, I judge how long it lasts by the rest of the crowd.
Yep.
As soon as they stop having a good time, it's over, because it's not your show. It's our show. And so if you're now a detriment to the show, I shut it down. The other thing is this. If you're talking to me, I'll talk back to you, right? And if we're having a fun conversation, if you're talking to each other at your table, I kick you the fuck out immediately because you're ruining other people's show. So
right. Well, they paid money to see you.
Right.
Right.
But if you're talking to me, you're part of the show. If you're having your own show, like I said, I can't have 4 people talking to each other, ruin a show for an entire section of people. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's just my look. Other
just,
people handle it differently. If you're talking to me, I'm not going to throw you out of there. We're going to have a good time.
But I mean, that's just a respect issue. If you, it's same thing. Like, you don't want a bunch of people talk. If I go to a comedy show, I am literally there to see the headliner. Like, I get the opening acts. You're trying to get, they're trying to get famous too and make a career of themselves. But really, what it comes down to is like what you just said. You interact with the crowd, so you already got them on your side. And then when you get a bunch of these people at a table bickering or trying to steal the show, everybody's going to be on your side when you kick them to the curb because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not. You don't go to a movie theater and talk on your phone the whole time.
Yeah, when I hear people in the crowd say, it's part of your job, you just got to handle it. It's actually not.
No,
my job. I can tell you my job is. I really like my job. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
you're a security guard.
Yeah, but you wouldn't go to a Pearl Jam concert and tell Eddie Vedder, move over. I got this one.
No,
you
exactly.
think you can sing alive? Wait till I sing it. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, speaking of singing. One of the coolest things that I don't know if you guys have seen from Josh's shows, but you need to go look on his YouTube and his Twitter because I love Josh's shows. I've been to a couple of them myself. But, dude, the songs you have created, especially the sandwich song, you have to go check that one out. That is.
I just posted it today.
I know. You got to go check. Oh, my gosh. That is. Keith, have you seen it yet?
No, now I'm going to go look for it.
Well, good.
I just posted it today.
It's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you know what, man? I think it took me a long time to pick up the guitar. Mostly, if I'm being honest, because I was concerned what other comics were going to say. It's such a taboo. It's such a taboo, and I'm past it. I'm years past it. But I wish I had picked it up sooner. I was just scared about like what people were going to say, because you don't want to be known as the guitar. He's the fucking guitar comic,
Yep.
And so I was more worried about what other people were going to say than like actually enjoying myself on stage. And so the guitar is something I do about an hour of stand up and then I'll do like 15 minutes on the guitar. That's just fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It puts on a great show. Well, I mean, maybe part of it now, you picked up the guitar on stage, you moved to Nashville. I mean, when's the record coming out, bud?
Well, listen, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been talking to somebody about doing a comedy music album. And I think I'm going to try to record it over here at Zany's. But
wow,
I have to, there are a couple legal questions I have. Like, I don't know how Weird Al, does he pay people?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Don't you remember that whole thing with him and Eminem? Eminem was like, you can't parody my song. And he was like, screw you, I'm going to do it anyways. And like changed like 2 of the notes and then labeled it couch potato. Like, don't you remember that? That was the best thing ever.
Oh, wait. So I can just change a note or two?
Why not?
I mean,
Copy wrote that.
Keith, I mean, you look like a lawyer. So you look like you know what you're talking. You went to law school, right?
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, I can tell by just this entire car. You clearly. So I'm just going to quote you. Is that cool?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Send them my way. And then if you have any bail money for fraud, let me know so that way I can. I do have 4 kids. They don't need to eat or anything.
Yeah, good.
Just let me know.
Well,
I'll
share.
be behind bars. We'll be good.
Yeah, all right, good.
That's
Actually,
fine.
if I go to prison, I can then study to be a lawyer, maybe get myself out.
Yeah, man. And not only that, if you go to prison and come out, this podcast is going to get way more eyeballs. So don't
That's
be so
what I'm
selfish.
saying.
Do
Don't
it.
be so selfish.
Yes, I love it. Well, speaking
Oh,
of
good,
kids,
Matt.
Josh,
Yeah.
one of my favorite things in 2016 when I met you was meeting Jacob, or Jake, your son. And I think it's so funny because back then you're talking about like the first time he found his like nudie mag and stuff like that. Then like the first time he smoked pot and like all this stuff. And it's part of your like stand-up routine now. And I don't know if you can share some of it for people who haven't seen it yet, but like to me, that is some of the funniest stuff. I know you ever knew Shogun Father Time, but
Yeah.
you got to tell some of these guys this because to me, that is some of the funny stuff because I'm not a dad, but I remember over quarantine, people are asking me questions about being a parent. Like, my kid did this. Like, what am I going to do? Dude, that's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen on Twitter and Instagram.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And yeah, the whole all of those stories are on my YouTube channel. They're and just over there, the whole original, I think it is over there, special called Father of the Year, where all those stories are. You can watch that whole special over there on the YouTube channel. And you know, the thing about those stories about him is that, like, some of them took place 6 years before I told him, because my deal with him was, here's a story I want to tell. When are you okay with me telling it? Because I never wanted him to be like, I'm telling stories about him. And he was like, yeah, you can't tell that story while I'm still in high school. And I'd be like, yeah, I get that.
Oh, you
know,
are a good dad. I tell stories about my kids now, and they're horrible.
Yeah, but how old are your kids?
So I got a set of twins. They just turned 6. Then I got a 11-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm living in hell.
Yeah, you are.
I
Good
am. I'm
Lord.
straight hell. Like, it's bad. Like, I don't do body fluids. I don't do any of that stuff. And that's literally all my kids do is puke and shit on everything. It's absolutely horrible.
That's terrible.
It's not good.
No, I remember a time when I was like, I can't imagine what it's like not to have kids. And now, if you brought a kid to my house, there better be a good reason. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Joe, I'm with you on that one.
you know what I'm saying? There better be a good reason. But I started telling a new story about Jacob. I told it for the first time this weekend in St. Louis, and I haven't flushed it out. But it's people ask me a lot about what my favorite practical joke I ever played on them. And I did play a lot of practical jokes on my kids. My favorite one maybe is my first one. So I was single dad at the time, and so the kids were probably 7, 5, and 3, something like that. And we were in Petco. And
this is already going to be bad.
my daughter walks up and goes, I'm not even going to ask. I know you're going to say no. And I go, okay. And she goes, no. I want to ask. I go, okay. She goes, I know I didn't eat my breakfast, but can I have a cookie? And I go, I don't have any cookies. And she goes, no, the Petco cookies. I go, show me what you're talking about. Show me. And so she walks over, and you know they have those big bins of dog treats, and some of them look just like chocolate chip cookies. So I go, you want to eat that cookie? And she goes, yeah. I go, okay. And then Jacob was like 3, and he was like, she gets a cookie, I don't get a cookie. She gets a cookie, I don't get a cookie. I want a cookie, she gets a cookie. I go, no, man, you have a cookie too. This is him right now on FaceTime. Hold on. Hey man, I'm on a podcast right now. Can I call you? Oh, let me see the shoes.
Tell him you're on with your lawyer.
Oh, dude. Let me call you right back. Listen, you guys remember this Jacob.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Jake?
Go, man.
I love you. Later.
He's got some hair.
My man, yeah, he looks a little bit like Kylo Ren right now.
He does. You're
Yeah.
right. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but he's like, I want a cookie. It's so crazy that he called just then. And I
He
go,
was watching. He's like, do not tell this story.
you want that cookie? And he goes, yeah. And I go, okay. And he picks up a cookie. And my oldest son, I go, hey, you want a cookie? And he didn't look at me. He was just staring at them. And he goes, that's dog food, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, no, I don't want that cookie. So then the kids go, they start to eat and I go, no, don't eat the cookies in the store. Because, look, I don't want to be a bad parent in public. I don't mind doing it in private, but you know what I mean? I don't want to do it in public. Public bad parenting, but everyone's a private bad parent, but public bad parenting, that's a real no,
Yeah.
So I get him out to the car, and man, Keith, when a kid puts a cookie in their mouth, even before they taste it, the noise they make,
Oh, it's horrible.
they go right? Because they're anticipating how good it is.
That's legit true.
Right? They're anticipating how right? So they put it in their mouth. Now, we were very poor at the time. And one of the deals was, look, if I'm gonna buy you a treat, I don't mind buying you a treat, but you got to finish it, because if you don't finish a treat, I'm just telling you, you never get that treat again. So in their mind, I got to finish this cookie, because if I don't finish the cookie, I never get a cookie ever again. So they take a bite. Look, I don't have to tell you. One word I wouldn't use to describe a pet treat is moist.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? It was like they bit into a sand dollar. When I asked my son how it was, and he goes, when he said pretty good, when he said, it was like a magician. It was like, you know, that puff of, it was like a mummy's tomb, you know? And I didn't tell him it was dog food for 2 years because I wanted the joke to land. Like if I had told them then, they wouldn't have appreciated it. Exactly. I needed them to know they ate dog food. You know what I mean? So I needed it in order. And I was so, they never, every time we went back to Petco, I would ask, anyone want a treat? And they'd be like, nah, we're good.
You stopped them from having cookies. You know what though? I don't think you realize you were actually super, super smart. That was a good strategy.
Oh, they ate the whole cookie, bro.
Of course they did.
That's like my son. I took him. This is the grossest thing. Again, I don't do body fluids at all. So I take my kid out, and of course, whenever I go somewhere, they got to ask 100 times for candy or whatever. So I buy him the big bag of Lifesaver gummies. Dude, he ate the whole bag. And then we were dry. I don't even remember what it was. He had a puffy coat on because it was winter or whatever. And in the back seat, I just look at him, and he opened, no facial expressions, nothing. He just looks at me in the most serious face, opens his mouth, and pukes everywhere. But he doesn't make there's no He just, and it's just pure. I mean, it freaking fun. Oh my God, I was so pissed. It funnels out. I'm freaking out, right? Because there's puke everywhere. Tyler's driving the car. He's like swerving through traffic, which is making me have motion sickness. And he's just opening his mouth, puking with nothing. He had no facial expression.
Yeah,
that pissed me off.
That's actually one of the creepiest things I think kids do, which is when they throw up with no sound in a dead face, when they just go, and you're like,
that's exactly what happened.
Alien? Like, how do you throw up with a dead face? No sound?
I'm very interested in fatherhood now. This is interesting.
Don't be.
Matt, you got to be a kid for sure. For sure. Like you got to have kids. I mean,
hey, Matt, you don't have to.
No, he's got to. Come on. If we have to suffer through this, you're going to tell us we're not going to encourage him to do the same?
Yeah, I'm trying to listen. He's still enjoying his life. What are you going to do that to him for?
Because, if I have to live through hell, why can't my friends?
If
misery loves company.
If Keith is miserable, I have to be miserable. That's just how we work.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a fine line between wishing ill will on somebody, and begging for bad will to come on someone. I'm begging for him to go through through all that.
Keith, who's standing to your right?
The producer.
Oh,
he's a volleyball half the time. That's Tyler.
How's it going?
What's going on?
He's a big fan of yours, actually, if you want to know the truth.
Tyler, do you have blue hair?
He's got sunglasses on.
I was going to say, that is bold, man. Blue, shiny hair. I like that.
That's why he's not on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Josh, I want to thank you for coming to the show, but I do have one quick thought for you real quick.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on it. So today, I know you're from Boston.
You told me to ask this question.
What?
You literally just texted me and told me to ask him this.
That was like 20 minutes ago. We're past that now. You're late to the game.
I wasn't going to interrupt him in his during his stand-up story. You kidding me? I haven't heard that story yet. I wanted to laugh.
You wanted to tell me how much I need to live in misery, so screw you.
I don't want you to live in misery. I want you to walk that fine line of, oh shit, this is now my life, and oh God, why is this my life?
Keith, I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got hair as good as Matt, their life is good.
That's a fact. You know
That's
what?
it,
He's
man.
right.
You wake up
He's
every
right.
morning and you're like, look at that lettuce. You
That's
can't-
right.
You can't have a bad day on this earth because every time you're in a bad mood, you walk by like a store window and you're like, look at that hair. I'm fine.
That's right.
I'm
Every
fine.
time I shower, it looks like I use Nair. I'm thinning real bad, man. He's
That's
talking
all-
about Matt's nice TikTok hair, and I'm over here trying to figure out if I'm gonna look like my dad. And
You post more TikToks than I do, to be fair, Keith.
you do,
Your
but you
hair should
look
have
like a
some
TikTok
TikTok,
guy.
though. Matt, your hair should have a TikTok page on its own.
Oh, I like it.
100%.
All right. Well, okay, final thought. LeBron James today, you're from Boston. He buys part of the Red Sox. We met because we were at David Ortiz's charity event there. You're taking that real quick.
LeBron is a winner. Welcome aboard.
Okay. There you go.
Listen, I love LeBron James. I can't, unless you live in a city where he consistently beat up your team, and I get it. I get it.
Or he leaves like a piece of crap, like that too.
If he leaves a piece of crap
Well,
Oh,
he did leave a piece of crap, but I mean,
in
yeah,
Cleveland. Yeah. But he also came back and won a
I know.
championship.
That's
And
my
I said I would.
point. Thank you,
And I
Josh.
said I would forgive him if he won a ring, and then I lied. So
Yeah.
I'm still pissed.
I mean, for me, like, as a Red Sox fan, very many painful departures to the Yankees,
Yeah.
and those were tough ones for me. So that's what I mean. Like, if I get it, if he beat you or if he went to a team, but if you're like me, just like a casual fan, that dude has done it the right way.
Absolutely.
The one mistake he made, which I would say is whatever it was called, whatever he called
The
it.
decision.
Yeah.
Well, he was a young kid, and at the end of the day, also he raised a shit ton of money for the Boys and Girls Club. So, like,
For Akron, he did do it the right way.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
It's hard to
even
be
when he
pissed when
messes
someone does
up,
charity.
yeah, even when he
exactly.
messes up, he ends up. So I think the dude's done it the right way, and he's a winner. So
Hey, I like
go
it.
Sox.
I've been trying to tell Keith for this ever since we started the show, but it just takes Josh Wolf to tell him that. So I appreciate it. Josh, where can people find you? I know you got shows coming up. Where can they find you? Where are you going to be next?
Well, when does this drop?
Today.
It's live.
Oh, okay. Des Moines, Iowa this weekend.
All right.
And then Philly at the beginning of April, but comedianjoshwolf.com for everything. I have a new special out called Father Time or Father Time, depending on how you want to interpret it. And it's something that I don't think's ever been done before. I streamed it live, one take. So I didn't get to pick and choose between a bunch of different sets. But not only that, I did a lot of breaking of the fourth wall. Because this special was my very first comedy CD. I found it and I rewrote it.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's
And
awesome.
so it was different for that reason. But also, usually I would tour for 9 months or a year. I only did 3 months. I did some jokes twice, so you could hear the original joke and the old joke and the new joke. It's a lot of comedy nerd stuff, but it's also super funny. It's something that I don't think anyone's done, and I rarely say this, but I'm really proud of it. And so you can grab it. It was up for a week, but we got so much ask about it that we just put it back up, so it's up for another week. comedianjoshwolf.com for
Cool.
tickets.
Well, if you ever need anybody to get high on your one show, let me know, because I'm super bad when I'm stoned.
You got it, buddy.
You'll make fun of me for hours. It'll be bad.
I like it.
All right, so make sure you guys check out Josh Wolf Comedy. Show's coming to an end, plus Zoom's ending. Anything else you want to shout out, Matt?
Nope. Just we'll be here on Thursday. And thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. It was lots
Absolutely.
of fun. And
All right,
enjoy
guys.
your new home in Nashville and picking up that guitar. And we'll maybe see that record here soon.
You got it, buddy.
All right.
Later,
Guys, thanks for tuning in to Life in the Fast Lane. It's been awesome. We have another show Thursday. We'll see you guys next Thursday, right, Matt?
That's right. We'll see you there.
All right, guys, everybody have a good evening.